Hi everybody. In this video I'm going to show you how to make an updated version of the menu, the ordering menu, with a more functional user interface, and it'll be applying lists, a couple of list methods, plus while loops and for loops with lists. So it'll combine together a few different Python concepts into a somewhat functional user interface. So here's an example of what it should look like when it's done. It gives you a few options. Choose 1 to add item, 2 to remove item, 3 to display your cart, 4 to check out, and 5 to quit without checking out. So I can hit 1 to add an item. If I choose, say, 1 for a chicken sandwich, I'll hit 1 again and add a burger. 1 again to add another item, and I'll add large fries. And 1 again to add another item, and I'll add a large drink. If I want to, I can display my cart. See that I have a chicken sandwich, a burger, large fries, large drink. I'll think, oh, you know what? I'm going to remove an item. I'll remove the burger. Display my cart again. And this time it displays my cart with the burger removed. And so I think, okay, that's good. I'll check out. And it prints a receipt with chicken sandwich, large fries, large drink. So it's really just keeping track of items in a list. It's not even keeping track of how much money each of those items cost. But for now, the whole point is just to see how lists work in Python, a few different list methods, and also using loops to create loops and if statements to create a user interface that's a bit more usable than the user interfaces you've created in the past. So I'm gonna move on to building how to build that. So the first thing I'm going to do is just create my list. So to create an empty list in Python, you just create a variable and set that equal to an empty list. So lists are represented by the square brackets, and if you don't put anything in it, it's just empty. So it's a list with nothing in it. And then I'm going to run this whole thing inside a while loop. So I'm just going to create a variable called quit, set that to false, and then I'll say while quit equals false. And this is where I'll put the bulk of my program, and what it'll do is just continue running as long as quit equals false. It starts equal to false, and as long as I don't change it, it'll keep running. So when I want to change it, I just change that quit variable. Just for the sake of making it kind of look nice and separate out the different components, I'm just going to print a line of dashes just to separate each iteration through the while loop. And then the first time it goes, the first thing I want it to do in each iteration after it just prints that separating line is get user input. So I'll say choice equals input. And I'm going to add a multi-line string here. And you don't have to do it this way, but instead of having one extremely long string, I'd rather just format the string sort of more natural looking. It's easier to do it that way. So what I want this everything in between the triple quotes is a string, and the reason I can skip lines and not break Python's uh, indentation rules, is that the triple quote indicates a multi-line string. So, and everything in between this triple quote and this triple quote is part of the string, and that includes the line breaks. So the line breaks will be reflected in the actual output. So for example, in other situations, I might put a \n to skip a line, but I can actually just skip a line because that'll be part of the output. So I'm just going to say, please choose from the following. It's auto indenting. I'm just going to unindent at the end instead of backspacing all that. Okay, so you notice in my case it's auto indenting, so I'm just going to shift tab back to unindent this. The reason I need to unindent it all is that indentation will display, and I don't want it to display indented like 8 different levels. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm also going to backspace this out and I'll put a \n and then a little right angle bracket space so that it displays a little command prompt. It'll display the angle bracket as a little command prompt with a space after it, and that'll sort of indicate where to type commands as part of the user interface. Okay, so that's what the sort of menu is going to look like, the main menu where you choose your options. So that means there's going to be 5 things to set up. What happens if the user chooses 1? What happens if the user chooses 2? What happens if the user chooses 3, 4, and 5? So I'll set up if choice equals 1. And we're going to have to set up another menu. This is the most complicated option. All the other ones are pretty straightforward as far as what to output and how many different, all the different conditional statements that I'm going to need. This one is much more complex than the others because it has all of the food options. To add an item, you have to have a bunch of food options. So I'll have to print out another menu. I'll just decorate this a little bit. A little heading. Then item 1, chicken sandwich. Item 2, burger. Item 3, impossible burger. Item 4, large fries. Item 5, small fries. 6, large drink. 7, small drink. Just like last time, I'm going to shift tab a few times to unindent all of that. And then I'll put a \n angle bracket to skip a line and provide a little command prompt. So let's just see what it looks like so far. Shouldn't do much. but it should display my first menu, and then if I hit 1, I need to just indent the if inside my while loop. Yeah, because this string, this can be a little bit confusing. Because this string was unindented all the way to the left, it automatically set up my if statement to be unindented all the way to the left, but it needs to be indented one level to be nested inside the while loop. So I had to just indent my if statement. Now that should work correctly. Yeah, gives me my choices. I will unindent the text though. And it's printing out my menu, which is all I want so far because I haven't told it what to do besides that. Okay, so I've got my menu printed out. Now I need to set up what to do for each one of those options. So if choice equals 1, and I can reuse this variable choice because it's just being overwritten. Like the first time I used the variable choice, the 1 through 5 options are for this input right here. They'll be overwritten wherever it's relevant. Like if I know once this conditional statement is done running, I don't really need the old data anymore. So I can just overwrite choice again. Like once this decision is made, was choice 1 for add item or 2 for remove item, I can just overwrite that information because it's no longer needed. It's already moved on to the next menu, which is the food menu. Now 1 can be chicken sandwich and 2 can be burger. So I can reuse the choice variable. I don't have to, but it's keeping it kind of simple. If I don't need to add any more, it's keeping it simpler because if I don't need to add any more variables, no reason to add more variables. It's just more names to keep track of. So if choice equals 1 this time, it's a chicken sandwich. So I'm going to say order dot append chicken sandwich. So what it's going to do is just add the string chicken sandwich to my order. The append method is a method that adds an item to the end of a list. So right now there's nothing in the list. It'll append one item to that list, so there will now be one item in the list. And if I go back and I add something else, that item would be added to the end of the list, so there would be 2 items in the list. And it just keeps adding stuff onto the end of the list as long as you keep appending. So anytime I can just keep using the append method to add these items. So I'll say order.append chicken sandwich. Elif choice equals 2. Order dot append burger. Elif choice equals 3. Order dot append Impossible burger. Just continue on for each item. Yeah, so that should handle all of my different possibilities for orders. Next, I should set up what to do for choice number 2 in the main menu. So the choice number 2 in the main menu was remove item. So instead of if choice equals 1 level of indentation, remember this choice equals 1 referred to this menu. This choice equals 1 referred to this menu. So 1 level of indentation in, not 2. So I have to make sure I'm back 1 level, not level with these, which are for the food choices, but back 1 level in line with this one because it's back to the main menu choices. If choice equals, and in fact, I'm just going to set up the rest of the main menu choices just so you can see that neatly lined up level of indentation, neatly lined up at that level of indentation, rather than sort of nesting again like I just did. Just to sort of show you what the rest of the main menu is going to look like. So if choice equals 2 for the main menu, there's going to be some code for there will be some code for removing double equal sign. For now, I'm just going to put a print just so you can see, just so there's something there as a placeholder. I'll make that an elif since they're exclusive of each other. It's not strictly necessary, but they are exclusive of each other. It's a little more efficient to not have to check every single if statement if there's no way they could overlap. If choice is 3, it's going to display the cart. These prints are all just placeholders so that there's something there, and if I run the program, it doesn't throw an error message, because having empty space, if I just cut this, you see there's having empty space after an if statement will create will cause an error message. The program will be looking for, the Python interpreter will be looking for something indented inside of this. So I'm just going to make sure I have something there to take up space. And what was 5? 5 was quit without checking out. I'll deal with that. This one I could deal with right now. There's a couple really easy ones. So quit without checking out is just quit immediately. So I can just say, what was my variable? It was called quit. So I can set quit equal to true, and it will quit because it won't be running the while loop anymore. Another thing I can do is add an else. That's pretty easy. The reason I want an else at the end of my main menu is if you make a menu choice that isn't valid, you might as well have some sort of output that at least provides context to the user. So something like, please make a valid choice. That way, if you hit the number 8 and there is no option 8, it will provide some output rather than doing nothing. So the else catches everything that isn't a valid menu option. Right? And this quit equals true if choice equals 5. That's because quit without checking out, it just needs to quit and not do anything. So just set quit equal to true. When it goes back to try to loop again, quit, it only repeats the loop if quit equals false, but now quit equals true. So it's just going to quit the loop. And that'll exit the program because there won't be anything after the while loop. So that takes care of a couple of straightforward options. And then the rest of the options are fairly straightforward as well, because if choice equals 2, that's remove. And to remove an item, I will keep this print statement here because I'll set up a little label. To remove an item, I'm just going to have another choice equals input. What would you like to remove? Do a new line, command prompt space. And then one thing I'm going to do just to handle some weird like uppercase, lowercase situations, because I typed everything with capitalized first letters. I could have done it all lowercase. I could have done it a bunch of different ways, but this is fine because there is actually a string. There's a string method, something that applies to that you can apply to strings in Python for converting things to first letter uppercase. It's called title case. So you can say dot title here, and dot title will convert. You can see the editor is actually providing a little bit of context here. The dot title method returns a version of the string where each word is title cased. So more specifically, the words start with uppercase characters. They start with uppercase characters, and all remaining case characters are lowercase. So just like the way I typed it, uppercase C for chicken, uppercase S for sandwich, and everything else is lowercase. So it'll just mimic the way I typed it, no matter how you enter the input. So that'll handle any errors. If you type all lowercase, it's still going to work. If you type all uppercase, it's still going to work. If you mix it up, it'll still work because it just title cases everything. It converts everything to first letter uppercase. So that's what this dot title is for. It's just to handle that, so you don't have, you don't have case sensitivity ruining the function of the user interface. Next, I'll just say if choice in order. So what I'm doing is I'm checking to see if that choice was actually in the order. Because remember, you're trying to remove an item from the order. In is a keyword in Python that works with iterables like lists. So iterables are just objects that you can iterate through, right? That you can loop through. So this will just automatically go through every item in the list and check to see if that choice was in there. So whatever you type, if you type burger, it's going to check to see if burger is in the list order. So if choice in order dot remove choice. And I'll add an else. Print item not found. If the item's not there, it'll say item not found. And that's all that's necessary for removing. Next, I want to display the cart. Oh, I should have left that print there. Print cart and then I'll just say for item in order print item. I'm actually using, so what I'm doing here is I'm using a for loop. For every item in the list order, print that item. So it's going to go through the order one item at a time, the list order one item at a time, and print each one individually. What that does is it prints each one on its own separate line, and it prints each one without any extra stuff attached to it. Let me just demonstrate what that means. So If I add an item, like a burger, and then I say display cart, notice it just prints the word burger under cart. That's great. That's what I want. If I didn't do this, if I just said print cart, it would actually print it in list format, which is kind of ugly. Or not order, not cart, order. Right, list name is order. If I just say print order and do the same thing, add item, burger, display cart. See how it's got square brackets and it's got quotes around the string. So it's printing it in list data format. It doesn't look very good, so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to leave it like this. For every item in the order, print that item. And that's just to display the cart. Now, if choice equals 4, in this case, that is option checkout. So that's the end of, that's going to end the program. It's going to quit, but I want it to print out the receipt first and sort of simulate a checkout. So I'll say print. I'm going to have it skip a line. So I'll do inside my string, new line. That way there's a nice space before the receipt, sort of separated out from all the other text. I keep using different symbols for all my little dividers, so I'll use $signs for the receipt. And I'll say for item in order, print item again. The only difference is this one is labeled a receipt. And after that, instead of repeating through the loop, I want to set quit equal to true. Because I want to quit once I'm done placing an order. So I've already done option 5, which is just quit, and an else to handle any invalid choices. So let's just run it and test a few things out. So I want to add an item. How about a burger? And I'll add another item. Large fries. I'll add a small drink. Print out my cart. How about I remove that small drink and I add a large drink instead? So I'll say remove item, small drink. I'll even type it wrong. See if my title case works. Small drink, display cart, it's gone. Let me add a new item. Large drink. And display cart again. Yeah, that looks right. Burger, large fries, large drink. And I'll check out. Prints my receipt with my items. So that's all there is to this this ordering menu with a user interface.